What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm coming at you from the Go Mart in Huntington, West Virginia. That would be I-64, exit 15, just across the border from Kentucky, and right before you get down to Hurricane and all that in West Virginia. As far as truck stops go, Go Mart would probably be, if you watch one of my previous videos, probably a tier 2 truck stop. They're all going to be a little bit different. Some of them have like 4 spots, some of them have like 40 spots. They're usually going to be in this West Virginia-ish area, but nice place to stop. So, a lot of local people around here, so, and I mean just like local, like people that live here that are coming in and out here, not just drivers. So anyway, had a question, or somebody left a comment asking, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I tried to find the comment, couldn't find it again, but is Prime just a good starter company, or is it a good place to stay, or something along those lines? Either way, however that question was formatted, I'll probably get to the answer somewhere in this video. So, for those people that have been rocking with me, and I mean, a lot of people that have even rocked with me from the beginning weren't there from the beginning. So if you click on, my videos and go to oldest videos, I have videos before I even came to Prime. I was thinking about going to Night. It was between Night and Prime. Regardless, is Prime just a good starter company, or is it a good place to have a career? And one thing I'm going to say is it really depends. And when I was choosing Prime, money was not a consideration. And I planned on being a company driver. And then I started thinking about home time situations and things like that. Kind of pushed me a little bit closer towards leasing. And then with some of the tax write-offs and stuff that I have, it just, the lease just fit better in it. So I've always believed, and this is a problem with people in general, or the majority of Americans in general. If you look at it, the statistics on how many people would go broke if they didn't get a paycheck for 2 weeks and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people just don't have the right perspective on money, and I would say truck drivers are probably even higher on that list. So the money wasn't the big issue. I said, I could do whatever I needed to do off of $1,500 a week, because I don't look at the money from my job as what, it enables me to build net worth and all that kind of stuff, but it's not how much money I make, for example, in comparison to most people, as to what I do with that money. So I try to live debt free, no car payments, no credit cards, any of that kind of stuff. I got a house payment, and then I got a house paid off, and I'm really not all about looking at that. I'm not trying to look the part. I'm not trying to perpetrate the fraud. So I've never looked, I guess I'm kind of going off on a different tangent, but I'll circle back around. I have 2 dads, a real dad, stepdad. They both kind of played different roles into, what made me what I am now. But my real father was executive at IBM, made very good money, and where he got his net worth from was from real estate and stuff like that, and always drove around the raggediest cars, you know what I mean? So I've never looked at having a nice car as what's gonna make me, I never looked at that to validate me or anything like that. I've always looked at more tangible type stuff. or things that are going to actually build me wealth and stuff like that. So that kind of gives you a mindset to where I'm coming from, first of all. So I see a lot of people that leave Prime, Swift, Sierra England, CRST, any of these places because they don't make enough money. That's what they say. And I say that that's a good reason to leave if you don't like the place that you're working for. But I could show you people that make $60,000 a year that are going to stack up money a lot more than people that are making $100,000 a year that are blowing it on stupid shit. All right, so let's get to it. So I'm going to use one example, but there's plenty of different examples of just people on YouTube that you can look at. But there was a girl that had started at Prime and left Prime before I got to Prime. And she left Prime because she wasn't making enough money, or, you know, whatever it was at the time. You know, it was the whole owner-operator thing that was in vogue back then. And so this person left and did that and did a bunch of other things. I am not exaggerating when I say that this person has had 10 jobs within the time that I started watching and then till now. So I think I've said it before, and I know I'm rambling, I apologize. If you're always chasing money, you're never going to be fast enough to catch it. You just aren't. And one thing I see a lot of in the trucking industry, because that was just one person. I could point to numerous different people on YouTube that you could probably name that have left and gone from company to company to company to company and have never got traction to actually build anything on that. So stability has a lot to do with it. So is Prime a good company, starter company? You know what? Prime is what you make it. If it works for you, it's a great company. I'm not even saying that Prime is, I've never tried to say Prime's the best company. To me, it's the best company. It fits into what I'm trying to do. God damn it, I lost my train of thought. But there's plenty of companies that you can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish if you just have some stability in your life. You know, too many people are, you know, one thing I'm blessed with is looking into the future. So I'm not always reacting on what's happening right in front of me. Some of you guys know, they've been watching my channel, I had a horrible last year. You know, I had 3 trucks on the road. My truck happened to be the only truck that didn't have any issues with it. Had I just looked at that next paycheck or the next month, or looked at things like so close to me that I wasn't able to see the full picture, I would have given up and been like 100 other drivers that just threw in the towel. But I had looked at the long term. You know what, if I could just make it through this truck will be paid off. That's going to give me a little bit of a breather. So that happened. So now I got one of these trucks paid off. That gives me a little bit of a breather. And then I'm always looking towards the future. I'm not looking at what's happening now. When I tell you that I have not felt the rates, I'm telling you, I have not felt the rates. And I'm talking about going back almost to COVID. Maybe slightly, but my issues has not been the money, it's been the rates. But even if it was, I'm in it for the long run. So Prime is whatever you want to make it. If you want to come to Prime and be a company driver, that's great. If you want to come to Prime and be a company driver and drive for a small fleet, that's great. If you want to come to Prime and be a lease owner, that's great. There's so many different ways you could do it. You could come to Prime and do a lease purchase. You could start a fleet. Hell, you could, there's a ton of different things you could do. So Prime is more than just a starter company. It's just, is it going to work for you? There are certain places that I could live and I would say, you know what? Swift is where I would be. If I lived right in this particular place, Swift is where I would work. And then there's I forgot the name of the other company, but there's another company that if I lived in another certain area that would work. So it is what you make it. You could be out here and listening to all the negative people that are out here, you know, whether they work at Prime or not, and take your advice or whatever from them. But I think the problem is with a lot of truck drivers are too busy trucking and not busy enough focusing on business. And this has nothing to do with being a company driver, lease driver, owner operator, whatever. It's a business mindset that makes you operate your life in a business type fashion. And businesses don't, I'll be honest with you, it's almost embarrassing the way some truck drivers are acting in this market being down. The real estate market is way worse than the trucking market, and I have not heard one of them people bitch. And I can guarantee you, some of these people that I'm talking to have probably taken a 50% hit in pay. Some are actually doing better. So it just depends on how you reacted to the situation. But rather than asking that, you know what? This is what I'm going to say. Look into your soul. Find a place you like. And, you know, it's going to take you to do research. So you're not bouncing around like all these people do out here. It's the dumbest thing in the world. But find a place you like. Once you find that place, build from there. Don't look at this as trucking. No matter what your position is in trucking. I'm telling you, you hear a lot of truck drivers talk about business. You know what? This doesn't make sense for my business, or, you know, business this, business that. And I'm going to tell you that very few truck drivers have a real business mentality. If they did, you would not hear them talking about, we're going to protest and we're going to shut down for this and that. Think about this, and I've said this before in videos. Truck drivers are, let's just say it again, traditionally going to be Republican leaning, which would be what? Less government oversight, you know, let the free markets work its way out, all this shit. Now all of a sudden you have truck drivers that call themselves business people talking about shutting down because of broker transparency rather than letting the market adjust to itself. So anyway, that may not have had to do with what this video is, but it does have to do with, it doesn't matter what company you're at. If you don't have the right mindset, it doesn't matter really what company you're at, because you're going to fail either way. And I'm not saying you're going to fail at being a truck driver. Fuck, you could be at Landstar making $4,000 a week, but if you ain't managing your life correctly and all you got to show at the end of the day is a fucking Harley Davidson, some credit card debt, and some other bullshit, it doesn't matter. So I guess if I'm going to wrap this video up, what I'm going to say is, it doesn't matter what company you're at. It's what mindset you're in. So is Prime a good starter company? I believe so. Is Prime a good company to stay at long term? I believe so. And if I was younger, my goal would probably be to transition out, you know, I like Prime enough to where I'd probably try to transition out of the driver situation and move towards something in-house. Now, I'm too old for that, but I think some of you young bucks out there that like Prime, that may want to kind of get out of trucking but kind of stay within the company, that should be something that you should take a look at. And somebody asked a question about that and how to do it. There's a way I would go about that. Anyway, that's a totally different video. I'm rambling at this point, but change your mentality before you work. It's sort of like this. This is a perfect example. if your mindset's not right, the only difference between you fucking over $3,000 a week or $2,000 a week or $1,000 a week, there's no difference between you and an NBA player that doesn't have his mind right, fucking off 40 million, 100 million, all these millions of dollars. So that's the difference. That's the difference between you, if you don't have your heads on straight, and a basketball player that loses millions of dollars. Same thing. Get your head right before you even consider worrying about, well, try to do it in conjunction with it, but you got to have your head straight regardless of where you're at. Anyway, I know I rambled. I'm apologize for it. Video may not have been as fluid as I thought, as it was when it was going on in my mind, but hey, it is what it is. I appreciate you stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm